Welcome to The Human Curious, where wonder meets storytelling. If you enjoy exploring the wonders of our world, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like for more amazing stories. Have you ever wondered what makes the world glow with possibility? Welcome to The Human Curious, where every story is an invitation to rediscover wonder in the everyday. Here, we chase mysteries, big and small, from the science behind a firefly's light to the memories tucked inside an old summer breeze. If you're searching for a place where curiosity comes alive, you found your home. On screen, you'll see our channel name, The Human Curious, glowing softly, like a firefly in the dusk. Join our community of explorers and dreamers. Subscribe, share, and like for more curious stories, because together, we'll find the magic hidden in plain sight. Ready to see the world with new eyes? Let's begin. Some people will tell you a firefly is just a beetle, a simple insect like any other. They might even show you diagrams, point out the hard exoskeleton, the segmented legs, the delicate wings, powered by bioluminescence, a fascinating process no doubt. A chemical reaction, luciferin and luciferase mixing with oxygen to make a cold light. Efficient, practical, explainable. That's the science, the simple truth, neatly packaged and easily understood. A truth that fits under a microscope, a truth that can be replicated in a lab. But sometimes I like to believe the world is a little more magical than that. That there are things science can't quite capture, feelings it can't quantify, wonders it can't dissect. That summer the world felt dimmer, the colors muted, the joy a little harder to find. It was the first summer without Grandma, a summer marked by absence, by a silence that echoed louder than any storm. The sun still rose, painting the sky with familiar hues, cicadas still buzzed, their relentless song filling the humid air, but a certain light had left our lives, a light that no sunrise could replace. The light in Grandma's laugh, a sound that could chase away any shadow, the sparkle in her eyes, a reflection of a life lived fully and with unwavering kindness. Her absence was a quiet thing, a subtle shift in the atmosphere, a space at the table forever empty, a silence where her humming used to be, a melody now only playing in our memories. The world is full of mysteries we can't explain with facts and figures, with equations and data points. There's the mystery of why a song makes you cry, even if you can't quite place the memory it evokes, or why the smell of rain brings back a memory, a flood of emotions tied to a specific moment in time. And then there's the mystery of a firefly. A tiny spark of light in the vast darkness, a little bug carrying its own lantern, a miniature beacon in the night. Blinking through the summer air, a silent language spoken in light. In that gentle, rhythmic blinking, a pulse of light against the encroaching darkness. You can find a story, if you're willing to look, to listen to the whispers of the night. So let the scientists have their explanations. I'll keep the wonder, the awe, the possibility. I'll believe a firefly's light is a tiny beacon of hope, a spark of magic in a world that often feels too ordinary. A reminder we're not alone in the dark, that even in the deepest shadows there is still light to be found. That summer, when my heart felt heavy, weighed down by grief and loss, I needed to believe in a little bit of magic, a glimmer of something beyond the tangible. And it arrived, flickering softly, in the space between the known and the unknown, a tiny light in the gloom, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope can still flicker and glow. Our backyard was a small kingdom of green, bordered by whispering pines and a fence wrapped in ivy. Grandma called it the fence's green sweater. The grass was cool under my feet, still damp from the sprinkler. This was where we buried Petey the hamster, where Dad taught me to throw a baseball, and where Grandma sat with her iced tea, naming clouds for me. That evening, dusk painted the world in deep blue and soft orange. The air was thick with the scent of grass and honeysuckle. A single cricket began its song, soon joined by a chorus. Grandma called this the in-between time. Not quite day, not yet night. A time for secrets and quiet thinking. I sat on the back steps, chin on my knees, watching the world settle. The quiet felt bigger than usual, a grandma-shaped quiet. The backyard was full of her gentle presence, in the flowers she planted, in the stillness of the coming night. As the last sliver of orange faded, a tiny spark appeared near the old oak tree. It blinked, a soft greenish-yellow glow, then vanished. I waited, breath held. It blinked again, higher this time, a firefly. I'd seen them in books, but never in real life. It felt like magic. More lights appeared, drifting through the yard, their glow soft and shy. My sadness faded, replaced by curiosity. I wanted to get closer. I tiptoed across the lawn, following a hovering light. I held out my hand, palm up, a silent question. The firefly drifted down and landed in my palm, its light pulsing gently against my skin. It was so light, just a faint tickle from tiny legs. Up close I saw its dark little body, the source of the incredible light. For a long moment I stood perfectly still, breathing in the sweet night air, holding a living star. In that moment the world felt full of possibility. The old wooden screen door creaked open, its familiar sound echoing in the twilight. It was a sound that spoke of summers past, of countless evenings spent on the porch, listening to the crickets and watching the fireflies dance. Mom stepped onto the porch, her silhouette framed against the warm light spilling from the house. She paused when she saw me, a gentle smile gracing her lips. There was a quiet understanding between us, a shared history woven into the fabric of our family. "What have you got there, honey?" she asked softly, her voice barely a whisper in the evening air. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity and a hint of something else, something that felt like shared sorrow but also enduring love. "It's a firefly," I whispered, my voice filled with a childlike wonder that even grief couldn't completely extinguish. I carefully opened my hands just enough to show her the gentle light pulsing within, a tiny beacon in the gathering darkness. The light seemed to dance between my fingers, casting a soft glow on my upturned face. She came beside me, her arm gently wrapping around my shoulders, pulling me close. Her touch was warm and comforting, a silent reassurance that I wasn't alone. Together, we stood in silence, watching the firefly blink, its tiny light a mesmerizing rhythm in the stillness of the night. "Your grandma always said that sometimes when someone you love goes away," Mom began, her voice soft and laced with a hint of nostalgia, "they find a way to say hello. They send a little bit of their light back to you, a little reminder that they're still watching over you. They send a little bit of their light back to you." Her words hung in the air, mingling with the chirping of crickets and the distant hoot of an owl. The idea settled in my heart, a comforting weight, a fragile hope taking root. It wasn't just a story, a comforting tale told to ease the pain. It was a truth I'd always known, a deep-seated belief in the enduring power of love and connection. Grandma was full of light, a radiant warmth that touched everyone she met. The thought that she could send a piece of that sparkle back, a tiny fragment of her boundless spirit, felt both impossible and right, a paradox that resonated deep within my soul. The firefly blinked again, a clear, distinct pulse of light. Hello. It wasn't just a bug anymore, it was something more, something imbued with meaning and purpose. It was a messenger, a tiny emissary from a world beyond our own. It was a tiny lantern carrying love across the dark, a beacon of hope in the face of loss. "Is it Grandma?" I asked, my voice barely audible, filled with a mixture of hope and trepidation. Mom squeezed my shoulder, her touch conveying a world of unspoken emotions. "I like to think so," she replied softly. The firefly's light seemed to grow brighter, intensifying its glow in the deepening twilight. Or maybe it was just hope growing in my heart, a fragile flame flickering against the darkness of grief. It was a whisper on the breeze, a secret carried on the wind. It was a secret just for us, a shared moment of connection that transcended the boundaries of life and death. In that moment, the night felt less lonely, less empty. It felt filled with the promise of connection, the enduring power of love, and the gentle whisper of a firefly's light. Mom told me people everywhere have stories about little lights in the dark. In Japan, fireflies are believed to be the souls of the departed, wandering the quiet fields. Light itself is a symbol of hope and connection, from candles in churches to lanterns in the sky. A single flame, no matter how small, chases away the darkness. The firefly, with its living light, becomes a messenger of remembrance and love. It carries its own hope within, glowing from the inside out. Seeing a firefly becomes more than just seeing a bug. It's a moment of connection, a tiny miracle. That night, I was part of a story older and bigger than myself. The firefly on my hand was my own, a star fallen to earth, bringing a message of love from far away. In its light I saw hope. Even as magic warmed my heart, curiosity tugged at me. Mom explained, "A firefly's light is a cold light made by special chemicals in its body. It's not for us. It's a message to other fireflies, each blink a part of their secret language. Different fireflies have different patterns, their own codes. They're all searching for connection in the dark." Hearing this didn't take away the magic. It added to it. The firefly was looking for someone just like I was. We were both sending out a quiet call, hoping for a response. Science explained the how, but the feeling in my heart was the why. The world, I realized, was big enough for both things to be true, a beetle's search for a mate, and a soul saying hello. Sometimes a signal of light is exactly what you need. When we lose someone, the world feels broken, a story with a missing page. We're natural storytellers searching for meaning in clouds, stars, and the world around us. In grief, we turn to nature to help us write a new story, one that holds both pain and hope. A cardinal at the window, a butterfly on your shoulder, a rainbow after a storm, these become messages from those we miss. It's not just wishful thinking, it's how we heal. We give random beauty a purpose, turning it into a character that brings comfort. A firefly's light becomes a symbol of love that endures. That night, as the firefly pulsed in my hand, I made it part of my story with Grandma. The firefly became a bridge connecting my world to hers. The sadness didn't vanish, but it had a companion, a tiny, flickering light. Love, like light, can travel any distance. After a while, the firefly flexed its wings, gave one last bright pulse, and lifted off my palm. I watched it rejoin the other dancing sparks in the yard. I didn't feel sad. It left a sense of peace, as soft as twilight. The visit was over, but the message remained. The yard was now filled with blinking lights, no longer just bugs, but friends, possibilities. The backyard felt full, alive with silent conversations. The heavy weight in my chest lifted, replaced by wonder and gentle acceptance. Grandma was gone, but also here. The sadness was still there, but it was softer, a bruise beginning to heal. The fireflies hadn't taken the grief away, but showed me you can hold sadness and wonder together. Mom and I stood quietly, watching the fireflies dance. The world felt big and mysterious, but not lonely. The firefly left a promise in my hand. Love doesn't end, it just changes shape. That summer, after Grandma passed, the world felt muted, like a painting washed of its color. But then, the fireflies arrived. That summer became the summer of the fireflies. It etched itself into our family's quiet history, a chapter illuminated not by ink, but by tiny flickering lights, a memory that glows even now. Every evening, as dusk began to settle and the shadows grew long, I'd wait in the backyard, perched on the old wooden swing set. And every evening, without fail, as if summoned by my quiet vigil, they'd appear, rising from the grass like scattered embers, tiny sparks igniting in the cool evening air. They danced a silent ballet, a mesmerizing display of light and life. Sometimes, overcome with curiosity, I'd catch one in a jar, carefully, gently. I'd watch it glow, mesmerized by the tiny beacon it created, a miniature sun trapped within glass. Then, feeling a pang of guilt for its captivity, I'd open the jar and let it go, setting it free back into the night, whispering, "Say hi to Grandma for me," as if they were celestial messengers carrying my love. The fireflies, in their silent, luminous way, taught me to be quiet, to find solace in stillness, to watch, to observe the world around me, to appreciate fleeting beauty, the ephemeral nature of life itself. You can't hold on to a firefly's light forever. It's a gift, a moment in time. Just enjoy it while it's with you, bask in its glow, let it warm your heart, and trust it will return. That beauty and light will always find their way back to you in some form. It was a lesson, whispered on the wind, for a heart learning to grieve, a gentle introduction to loss. You can't hold on to a person forever, their physical presence, but you can hold on to the love, the memories, the essence of who they were. The line between science and magic blurred in that backyard, under the watchful eyes of the fireflies, and I liked it that way, embraced the mystery and wonder of it all. I knew the facts, the scientific explanations for their bioluminescence, but I also knew, with a certainty that defied logic, that the fireflies were messages from Grandma, winking down from above. Both things were true, coexisting in a space where grief and wonder intertwined. Years have passed since that summer. Seasons have turned countless times, but those first fireflies, those tiny beacons of hope, remain a special kind of light in my memory, a cherished emblem of childhood. A symbol of how wonder, found in the most unexpected places, can heal a broken heart, mend a shattered spirit. Even in the darkest times, when shadows seem to consume everything, there is light to be found, a spark of hope, a glimmer of beauty, if you're still enough to see it, quiet enough to hear its whisper, and brave enough to believe it's there just for you, a personal message of hope in the vast darkness. Let's go to part 2. The desk lamp casts a small, warm sun, a beacon in the encroaching darkness. It's a familiar comfort, this pool of light, a sanctuary carved out of the night. The light spills onto a sea of paper, a chaotic landscape of ideas and observations. Each sheet holds a fragment of thought, a piece of the puzzle I'm trying to assemble. It is late, the kind of late where the world holds its breath. Outside, the world is silent, ancient and heavy, a vast expanse of mystery stretching beyond the window pane. The darkness hums with secrets, whispers carried on the night air. My focus narrows to this single circle of light, this self-imposed orbit. The world outside fades, the sounds of the night dim, and all that remains is the task at hand. Here graphite whispers across the page, a delicate dance between intention and creation. Each stroke leaves a trace, a tangible record of the fleeting thoughts that pass through my mind. I'm tracing the language of fireflies, attempting to capture their ephemeral beauty, their fleeting messages. It's a delicate process, a constant negotiation between observation and interpretation. Each mark is a translation, an attempt to bridge the gap between their world and mine. It's a process of decoding, of finding meaning in the seemingly random patterns of light. Each flash is a brief, brilliant burst of light from the summer night, a fleeting moment of communication in the vast darkness. They are tiny beacons, signaling to each other, and perhaps, to something more. The air is thick with the scent of old books, a comforting aroma that speaks of knowledge and history. They are silent witnesses to my late-night endeavors, their wisdom a constant presence. The scent of cut grass drifts in from the open window, a reminder of the world beyond my desk. It's a grounding scent, a connection to the earth and the seasons. My pencil pauses, suspended above the page. I look from the sketch, from the intricate web of lines and symbols. My gaze drifts to the darkness beyond the glass, to the source of the inspiration. Another flash, a J-stroke, a distinct and deliberate signal. It's curving upward like a tiny, brilliant hook, a question mark etched in light. I quickly add it to the page, capturing the fleeting form before it disappears. It becomes a new character in this flickering alphabet, a new piece of the puzzle. Is it a question, a declaration, a plea? The night offers only more questions in light, a constant stream of enigmatic signals. My room feels like a lonely lighthouse, a solitary point of illumination in the vast darkness. And I am its keeper, the one tasked with observing and interpreting the signals. I'm recording signals from a vast ocean of darkness, a universe of unseen communication. The sheer number of flashes is overwhelming, a dizzying display of light and shadow. It's a chaotic symphony I try to break into notes, to distill into something comprehensible. What began as curiosity, a simple fascination with the natural world, has become obsession, a consuming need to understand. I notice differences, subtle variations in the patterns of light. Some flashes are long and slow, drawn-out signals that linger in the air. Others quick and sharp, like staccato notes in a complex melody. There are patterns, rhythms, repetitions, a language, undeniably, a complex system of communication hidden in plain sight. I ache to decode its grammar and syntax, to unlock the secrets of their luminous conversation. I want to become its first human student, to bridge the gap between our worlds and understand what they are saying. The sketches look like a secret code, a cipher waiting to be deciphered. It's a dialogue unfolding between the oak and the garden fence, a conversation carried on the summer breeze. It feels like I am on the verge of understanding, of finally grasping the underlying principles. I'm close to understanding something fundamental about communication itself, a breakthrough that could change everything. The obsession has a color, the precise shade of a firefly's glow. My days are mere interludes waiting for night to fall. My search history is filled with questions about firefly communication, but answers only deepen the mystery. I have become a creature of the night, my rhythms dictated by these living lanterns. Friends call, but I make excuses, eyes fixed on the window, waiting for the first flash. The backyard is my sanctuary. I know its geography intimately now. Each night I sit motionless, learning to see with an attuned sense of rhythm. The fireflies taught me to look for hidden language everywhere, to believe that even in darkness, messages wait to be read. The science behind the firefly's flash is both beautiful and surprisingly simple. It's not just a random flicker, it's a language, a complex system of communication. Like any language, it has its own grammar, syntax, and vocabulary. Each species has its own code, a unique dialect in this luminous conversation. The variations are subtle but crucial for recognition. Males flash a specific pattern, a carefully constructed sequence of light pulses, and females respond if interested, signaling their availability with their own distinct reply. It's a dialogue of desire, a silent conversation carried out in the language of light, a romantic exchange in the darkness. The timing, the precise intervals between flashes, color, the subtle shifts in the spectrum of bioluminescence and shape of the flash all matter. These elements combine to create a unique signature, a personal identifier in the Firefly world. The mechanism behind this light show is a miracle. Luciferase, an enzyme, acts on luciferin, a light-producing compound, releasing cold light, a process that defies conventional energy production. This is pure, efficient brilliance, a natural light source that wastes almost no energy as heat. Communication at its most fundamental, a primal urge expressed through bioluminescence. The firefly flashes to survive, to attract a mate, to continue its lineage, ensuring the survival of its genes. The J-stroke, a distinctive curved flash, is a question, "Are you there? Is there anyone out there who shares my code, my language?" The double flash is a "Yes, I am here, I hear you, I understand you, I am ready." The blue ghost's glow, a constant ethereal light, is a different strategy for the same goal, a persistent beacon in the night. I'm watching thousands of urgent conversations about love and identity, a symphony of light played out in the darkness. Understanding the science enhances the magic, revealing the intricate details of this natural phenomenon, grounding it in reality, showing us the tangible processes behind the seemingly mystical display. The language of light is ancient, a communication method that predates human speech. Honed over millions of years, perfected through the relentless process of natural selection. It is a testament to life's power to create beauty out of necessity, to transform the fundamental drive to survive into an art form. The fireflies are not just pretty, they are more than just a pleasing sight. They are brilliant, a shining example of nature's ingenuity and the power of communication. As I learn the science, I wonder about the patterns I saw before ones that didn't fit the mating code. Was it real or just me? I discover apophenia, the tendency to see patterns in randomness. It's seeing faces in clouds, messages in static. Maybe the meaning I sought was in my mind, not the fireflies. We are pattern-seeking animals, connecting stars into constellations, hearing whispers in the wind. We need a narrative, a hidden layer of significance. Superstitions, astrology, all stem from this impulse. I wanted the flashes to be more than biology, a message from the world itself. Apophenia is the ghost in the machine, the meaning we project onto the world. Yet perhaps it's not a flaw but how we connect with the world. It is the engine of art, poetry, and wonder. My search for a secret language was born from genuine wonder and a desire for connection. My reading turns from entomology to the concept of Barzakh, a veil between worlds. It is a realm of waiting, hidden behind a curtain we cannot see through. The idea captivates me. It feels like the ultimate darkness, much like the night outside. We hope the veil is not absolute, that love and memory can pass through. The fireflies become a metaphor for this longing. Tiny sparks illuminating the darkness. Perhaps our desire to see patterns is a reflection of a deeper hope, that messages can cross the ultimate divide. We look for signs because we want to believe the boundary is not sealed. If a soul in Barzakh tried to communicate, what language would it use? Not words, but a language of pure essence, light, shadow, coincidence, synchronicity. It would use the world as its alphabet, a butterfly's flight, a rainbow, the rhythm of rain. Messages would be a series of small, connected moments forming a pattern. The fireflies seem a perfect medium. Ephemeral, their flash is a binary code of presence and absence. A gentle consciousness could borrow their light to pulse out a message of love. It could always be explained away by science, but for the grieving, it would be everything. This is the ultimate projection of meaning, rooted in our need for connection beyond death. The language of the lost would be one of comfort, its grammar love, its syntax memory. It would whisper that the veil is woven of light, memory, and mist. My investigation splits into two paths. One is lit by science. Luciferase, luciferin, evolutionary biology. It explains the firefly's flashes as a strategy for survival. The other path is dimmer, lit by hope. The heart's hypothesis. It wonders if a system made for one purpose could be co-opted for another. These paths are not in conflict. I can hold both truths. Science explains the mechanism, but doesn't extinguish the mystery. The heart's hypothesis is about finding resonance within the scientific framework. I watch as both scientist and poet, open to a deeper message. Meaning is created in the space between observer and observed. Summer wanes, the firefly's chorus fades, my notebook is full, a testament to my journey between reason and hope. This internal dialogue is the true discovery. It's not about choosing one over the other, but integrating both. Reason provides the foundation, hope builds a home on it. To live with only reason is to risk losing wonder, with only hope, to risk delusion. The challenge is to balance both, letting reason inform hope and hope give meaning to reason. the last fireflies feel precious. Each flash a farewell. I listen to both the scientific language of survival and the language of wonder. Both speak of the miracle of a small light shining in darkness, and the desire not to be alone. The desk lamp is off, the room is cast in shadow, a stark contrast to the glow it once provided. It sits silently, a sentinel of the night waiting for the dawn when it will once again be called to duty. The firefly season is over. The magical dance of light has faded, leaving behind a quiet stillness. The air, once filled with their ephemeral glow, is now still and cool. The backyard is just a backyard again, a familiar space stripped of its summer enchantment. The grass is a little longer, the shadows a little deeper, but it feels different now. It carries the weight of what I've learned, the echoes of those tiny lights and the questions they sparked. The moonlight seems to hold a deeper significance. The world is layered, rich with potential meaning waiting to be uncovered. Each layer reveals new depths, new connections, new possibilities for understanding. The silence feels full, not empty. It's a pregnant silence, humming with untold stories and the potential for new discoveries. It's a silence that invites contemplation. My quest began with a question about firefly patterns, a simple curiosity about their synchronized dance, and led to the biggest questions we can ask. Why are we here? What is our purpose? What connects us all? The fireflies were the spark that illuminated a larger landscape, a vast territory of thought and feeling. They revealed a world teeming with hidden connections. They taught me the world is always speaking in many languages, a constant stream of information and insight. Science, with its meticulous observations and rigorous analysis, poetry, with its evocative imagery and emotional resonance, hope. The unwavering belief in a brighter future, a better understanding. The search for meaning is our most fundamental instinct, the driving force behind all our endeavors. Whether in equations revealing the underlying order of the universe, sacred texts, offering guidance and wisdom passed down through generations, or a firefly's flash, a fleeting moment of beauty that sparks a sense of wonder, the act of searching makes us who we are. It defines our humanity, our capacity for curiosity and connection. It transforms existence into experience, imbuing our lives with purpose and significance. Life into story. A narrative woven from our experiences, our relationships, and our ongoing quest for meaning. The night is quiet, a peaceful interlude in the ongoing drama of existence. But a new generation of fireflies waits in the earth, patiently gathering strength for their own moment to shine. The search for connection continues, an eternal quest to understand our place in the universe. We look for patterns, for signs we are part of something larger, something more profound than ourselves. In that hopeful search, we find our own light, a spark of understanding and compassion within ourselves, and send it out, hoping for a flash in return, a sign that we are not alone in this vast and wondrous universe. Let's go to part 3. I came to this field, drawn by an unshakable feeling, a whisper on the wind, seeking a single voice, a familiar echo in the vast silence. I strained to hear, to discern a specific frequency amidst the ambient noise of the natural world. A whisper from a soul I had lost, a connection severed too soon, leaving an ache that resonated deep within my being. I hoped to find some trace, some lingering essence. But the forest answered, not in the way I expected. It offered something far more profound. Not with one, but with a chorus, a multitude of voices blending into a single, unified expression. A symphony of fireflies, their tiny lights orchestrating a breathtaking performance. It was a language I didn't understand, but felt in my very core. Each a spark in a living tapestry, weaving together a story of interconnectedness and shared existence. Each tiny light held a universe of its own. My search for a ghost, a singular presence, led me to the soul of the world itself, a realization that dwarfed my initial quest. I was no longer searching for a fragment, but beholding the whole. A presence far greater than I imagined, a consciousness that permeated every leaf, every stone, every flicker of light. Each night as darkness fell, enveloping the world in its velvety embrace, the meadow erupted in waves of golden light, a breathtaking spectacle that defied explanation. Fireflies pulsing in unison, their rhythmic flashes creating a mesmerizing dance of light and shadow, flowing through the trees like a river of stars, a celestial stream illuminating the hidden pathways of the forest. I set out to capture this fleeting magic, to understand the language of light, not with paint or brush, but with high-resolution cameras and sensors. tools designed to quantify the ephemeral, mapping every flicker and pause, every subtle shift in intensity and rhythm. I wanted to find the hidden order, the underlying structure that governed their luminous ballet. In their chaotic beauty, a paradox that both intrigued and challenged my understanding. A pattern that might reveal a deeper intelligence, a collective consciousness expressed through light. Night after night I sat at the forest's edge, a silent observer in nature's grand theater, my equipment humming quietly, a symphony of technology blending with the natural world, searching for meaning in the constellations of light at my feet, a microcosm of the universe above. Like an astronomer peering into the vast expanse of space, I looked for signs that we are not alone, that life, in its myriad forms, thrives beyond our limited perception. That consciousness connects all things, weaving a tapestry of existence that transcends time and space. The Fireflies' dance became my message, a reminder of the beauty and mystery that surrounds us. The universe, in its smallest and grandest forms, is reflected in every living thing, is alive with connection, a vibrant network of energy and information constantly flowing and evolving. My mission shifted, transformed by the very thing I sought to understand. From seeking a single sign, a solitary answer, to witnessing the pulse of a living world, a symphony of life unfolding before my eyes. In the forest's light, bathed in the ethereal glow of the fireflies, I found not just memory, but belonging, a sense of connection to something far greater than myself. I was home. Patience is the forest's first lesson. It teaches us to observe, to wait, and to appreciate the subtle rhythms of nature. The forest holds its secrets close, revealing them only to those who are willing to listen with their hearts. Each evening as twilight descends and the forest awakens, I set up a ring of light-field cameras. These aren't your everyday cameras, they're sophisticated tools designed to capture the full spectrum of light and movement. My goal is to go beyond simply capturing the fireflies' positions. I want to understand their language, their communication, their dance. I'm capturing not just the fireflies' positions but the direction and intensity of every spark, every flicker, every burst of bioluminescent energy. Each flash tells a story. The meadow became my canvas, a vast dark expanse ready to be illuminated. The fireflies, with their ethereal glow, became my paint, each one a tiny brushstroke of light. And technology, the bridge between the natural world and my artistic vision, became my brush, allowing me to translate the fireflies' language into something we can see and understand. In my tent, surrounded by the hum of equipment and the glow of screens, I watched the night unfold as data, a constant stream of information flowing from the meadow to my monitors. Each firefly a unique point, a single pixel in a vast living image. Each flash a signature rhythm, a unique identifier, a language spoken in light. Back in the studio, surrounded by the cool glow of computer screens, algorithms transformed raw numbers into art, revealing patterns and connections that would otherwise remain hidden. The data revealed swirling paths like galaxies forming in the night sky, constellations of light, and rivers of light flowing through the meadow. I could slow time, stretching moments into minutes, revealing the intricate details of each flash. I could freeze moments, capturing the ephemeral beauty of a single spark suspended in time, and reveal the hidden geometry of the swarm, the underlying mathematical structures that govern their collective behavior. The final images, born from data and transformed by algorithms, looked like nebulae, vast cosmic clouds of light and energy, or neural networks, the intricate pathways of the brain. They became living, breathing digital art, constantly shifting and evolving, reflecting the dynamic nature of the firefly swarm. Some visualizations showed the collective flow, the way the fireflies moved together as a single entity. Others captured moments of perfect synchrony, when the fireflies seemed to move and flash as one, a testament to the power of collective behavior. Moments when thousands flashed as one, creating a breathtaking display of unity in illumination. These weren't just beautiful, they were more than just aesthetically pleasing images. They were windows into a hidden world, a glimpse into the complex and fascinating lives of these tiny creatures, a system operating with grace and intelligence, a testament to the power of nature's design. The question lingered in my mind, a constant source of curiosity and wonder. What guides this breathtaking, coordinated display? What unseen forces orchestrate this symphony of light? My art became a way to ask, to explore, to probe the mysteries of the natural world, and sometimes glimpse just for a fleeting moment the answer, a hint of the underlying order. In the firefly's light I saw the possibility of a deeper order, a connection to something larger than ourselves, a glimpse of the universe's intricate and beautiful design. Immersed in the data, surrounded by the hum of the machines and the glow of the screens, I found myself drawn deeper and deeper into the mystery of these tiny lights. Days turned into nights as I pored over the readings, searching for patterns, for meaning, for some kind of underlying structure. I began to sense a language in the Fireflies' flashes, a subtle and complex form of communication that seemed to defy simple explanation. It was more than just random bursts of light. There was a rhythm, a cadence, a deliberate structure to their interactions. Science says it's mating, call and response, a biological imperative, a simple dance of attraction and reproduction. The textbooks described it as a straightforward process, a series of signals designed to attract a mate and ensure the continuation of the species. But the complexity I witnessed, the sheer intricacy of the light displays, went beyond courtship. It felt like something more profound, something that hinted at a deeper level of connection and understanding. Mass synchrony, thousands flashing together, felt like a unified statement, not just individual conversations. It was as if they were all speaking with one voice, expressing a single, coherent thought. Each flash became a pulse of information, a tiny spark of meaning, a shared thought, a fleeting glimpse into a collective consciousness. When the whole field flashed as one, a wave of light washing over the landscape, it was a moment of collective consciousness, a superorganism speaking in light, a single entity composed of thousands of individual minds. The patterns in my art were not just insect trails, mere recordings of their movements, but the record of a collective mind at work, a visual representation of their shared thoughts and intentions. The intelligence wasn't in any single firefly, in its individual capacity, but in the connections between them, in the intricate web of communication that linked them together. Their language was rhythm, timing, and unity, a grammar of being, a set of rules that governed their existence and allowed them to communicate with each other. I realized I was only beginning to understand this luminous conversation, only scratching the surface of a profound and complex system of communication. The Fireflies' dance was thought made visible, a tangible expression of their collective consciousness, a fleeting glimpse of a mind greater than the sum of its parts, a supermind that transcended the limitations of individual consciousness. In their synchrony I saw the possibility of a consciousness that transcends the individual, a unified field of awareness that connects all living things. The forest was teaching me to listen, to pay attention to the subtle nuances of their communication, to the spaces between the flashes, to the silent pauses that held just as much meaning as the bursts of light. My nights with the Fireflies led me to contemplate energy's endless flow. Sunlight becomes plant, plant becomes firefly, firefly becomes light, energy transforming, never lost. The light I captured became digital art, another form in the cosmic dance. This cycle felt spiritual. If energy is eternal, perhaps consciousness is too. When we die, our spark doesn't vanish. It transforms, rejoining the world in new forms. The Fireflies weren't messengers from a single soul, but from the eternal soul of the world. My art shifted to reflect this. I mapped not just firefly paths, but the flow of energy through the ecosystem. The flashes became one layer in a vast, interconnected orchestra. The beauty was not in the individual, but in the connections. Life's energy made visible. The firefly's light was a reminder. Everything is part of this eternal, beautiful motion. This led me to an ancient idea, pantheism. The divine is in everything. The forest became a living cathedral, sacred not in theory but in presence. Could a forest have consciousness? The fireflies' swarm hinted at a larger mind. Trees, fungi, animals, all connected. My art became worship, digital hymns to a unified living world. I used algorithms to mimic fungal networks, weaving firefly paths into luminous webs. I wanted viewers to feel awe, to sense they are part of nature's sacred conscious body. To understand the forest's soul, I studied the firefly's mind, or its absence. Swarm intelligence, no leader, just simple rules and local interactions. One firefly is a blink, thousands create a spectacle of mass synchrony. The intelligence emerges from the system, not the individual, a wisdom born from community. This is emergence, complexity from simplicity, life from chemistry, consciousness from neurons. The firefly swarm was a living metaphor, simple parts becoming something more. If fireflies can create collective intelligence, what about forests? Billions of trees, fungi, animals. The forest's consciousness would be slow, deep, ancient, unfolding over centuries. We might not recognize it moving at our own rapid pace, yet we walk through a mind far older and vaster than our own. The fireflies taught me to see the wisdom in connection. The forest soul is a chorus, not a solo. My journey into the forest became a journey inward. The search for patterns in firefly light mirrored my search for meaning in life. Jung called it synchronicity, meaningful connections between inner and outer worlds. My grief led me here, but the fireflies offered not answers, but unity. Their patterns reflected my longing for connection, reminding me I was not alone. The boundary between self and world blurred. My thoughts felt part of the same field as the forest and stars. Meaning wasn't out there to be found. It was in the echo between my story and the universe's language. In the firefly's light, I saw my own story written in the world. Each night, synchronicity grew stronger. The firefly's patterns often mirrored my thoughts as if the universe was answering in light. I realized I'd been seeking a single sign, but the message was a web of interconnected sparks. The comfort I sought was in the collective pulse, not a solitary voice. Perhaps consciousness is not just an observer but a participant. Our intentions reflected in the world. The fireflies embodied this principle. Their dance was a dialogue, not just among themselves but with me. My art became a map of this connection, a visualization of the dialogue between my soul and the forests. The final pieces captured not just patterns but wonder, connection, and peace. If you look for signs, you'll find them. The universe is always speaking to those who listen. The fireflies taught me to listen with my whole being. If the forest has a soul, the world is more alive and intelligent than we imagine. We are not the only consciousness here, just one voice in a planetary choir. The forest's soul is presence, not memory or desire. Its thoughts are seasons, its feelings the flow of water and sun. Seeing nature as alive demands reverence and responsibility. My journey ended in awe. I came seeking a ghost and found a god in the soil, leaves, and firefly light. The fireflies showed me consciousness is a field, a web connecting all life. My art became a glimpse into this web, a reminder that nothing is truly lost. The spark of a loved one rejoins the constellation of life. Now I listen to the language of light, sharing what I've heard. The world is a living, conscious entity. If we see the soul in the forest, perhaps we'll see it in each other, each of us a spark in the great light. Let's go to part 4. The journey had ended, the physical trek through winding paths and over mountain trails was complete. We had reached our destination, a place spoken of in hushed tones and revered for its profound tranquility. But the true pilgrimage, the inward exploration, was just beginning. This valley held a promise, a whisper of something more, something beyond the tangible. It was a place where the veil between worlds felt thin, where the spirit could roam free. We arrived as the sun faded, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, a final farewell to the day. The golden hour cast long shadows, transforming the familiar landscape into something ethereal and dreamlike. The valley wrapped in ancient trees, their gnarled branches reaching towards the heavens like supplicating arms, and the air was thick with the intoxicating scent of jasmine. It was a fragrance that spoke of secrets and whispered of forgotten lore. This was not a place of grandeur. No towering monuments or ostentatious displays of power. Its beauty lay in its simplicity, in the unadorned elegance of the natural world. But of quiet anticipation, a sense that something profound was about to unfold. The very air seemed to vibrate with unspoken energy, a palpable sense of expectation. The air was thick, heavy with moisture and the scent of damp earth. The world hushed as if holding its breath in reverence. A gentle mist clung to the trees, softening the edges of reality and blurring the lines between the seen and unseen, as if waiting for something sacred, a divine revelation, a moment of profound connection. It was a place where the ordinary could transform into the extraordinary, where the mundane could become magical. As twilight deepened, the shadows lengthened, stretching across the valley floor like grasping fingers. The colors of the day faded, replaced by the subtle gradations of gray and black. The forest merged into a single silhouette, a dark and imposing presence against the fading light of the sky. The individual trees lost their definition, becoming part of a unified whole. The day's sharpness dissolving into shadow, blurring the edges of perception, and inviting the imagination to take flight. The world became softer, more mysterious, more receptive to the subtle energies that permeated the valley. Only a hidden stream, its waters gurgling and whispering secrets to the stones, and a distant night bird, its mournful call echoing through the trees, broke the silence, a silence so profound it felt almost tangible. It was a silence that allowed the inner voice to be heard, a silence that invited contemplation and introspection. We gathered on a grassy knoll, a small clearing bathed in the soft glow of the emerging stars, sharing a silent expectation, a collective hope that something extraordinary was about to occur. We were united in our purpose, bound together by a shared sense of wonder and anticipation. The darkness that fell was absolute, a darkness that swallowed the world whole, no city glow to pollute the sky, just pure, enveloping blackness, the kind of darkness that allows the stars to truly shine. It made us aware of our own breath, the rhythmic rise and fall of our chests, a reminder of our own mortality and our connection to the life force that sustained us. Our own heartbeat, the steady drumbeat of life, echoing in the silence. It was a primal sound, a reminder of our animal nature and our deep connection to the earth. The stars were hidden by the canopy, the dense foliage above us formed a protective barrier, shielding us from the vastness of the cosmos. We were suspended in a pocket of night, a small, intimate space carved out of the immensity of the darkness. We were cocooned, protected, and held in the embrace of the forest. Every sound was amplified, the rustling of leaves, the snapping of twigs, the hooting of an owl in the distance. Our senses were heightened, attuned to the subtle nuances of the natural world. Every movement felt significant, imbued with a sense of purpose and intention. We moved with deliberate care, mindful of our impact on the delicate balance of the ecosystem. We waited, senses heightened, our awareness expanded, our minds open to the possibilities that lay before us. We were ready to receive whatever the night might bring. For the first sign, the subtle clue, the unmistakable signal that would mark the beginning of something extraordinary. We were watching for a flicker of light, a whisper of sound, a shift in the energy of the air. The world had become a stage, a natural amphitheater where the drama of the night was about to unfold. The trees were the backdrop, the stars the spotlights, and we were the players in this ancient and timeless story. Perfectly set and utterly dark, a blank canvas upon which the universe could paint its masterpiece. The darkness was not empty, but full of potential, pregnant with possibility. We were the audience, the silent observers, the witnesses to a spectacle that was both intimate and universal. We were humbled by the grandeur of the natural world and grateful for the opportunity to be present in this sacred space, holding our breath for a miracle, a moment of transcendence, a glimpse into the divine. We were ready to surrender to the unknown, to embrace the mystery, and to allow ourselves to be transformed by the experience. The waiting itself was part of the experience, a process of purification, a shedding of the ego, a preparation for the profound. It was a time to quiet the mind, to open the heart, and to listen to the whispers of the soul. A sensory fast before the feast, a period of abstinence that would heighten our appreciation for the abundance that was to come. We were ready to feast on the beauty, the mystery, and the magic of the valley. The forest held its breath, an inky black canvas stretched taut across the hills. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and the promise of something unseen. Then, it happened. A single brilliant spark ignited in the woods. A tiny beacon in the overwhelming darkness. It pulsed twice, a deliberate signal sent out into the void. A fleeting moment of light, a question mark hanging in the air, then vanished, almost too brief to believe. A phantom flicker, easily dismissed as a trick of the eye. Was it real? Had I truly seen it? But my heart knew. It was a herald. A solitary messenger, carrying news of something extraordinary about to unfold. Silence followed, thick with anticipation. The kind of silence that hums with unspoken energy, a pregnant pause before a grand performance. That tiny light promised millions more. It was a pledge, a guarantee of a spectacle beyond imagination, a promise whispered on the wind. Another spark answered, a response to the initial call. The dialogue had begun, then another, scattered across the valley. Like stars mirroring the heavens above, they began to populate the darkness. The first flickers were random, a chaotic scattering of light, each one independent, searching for its place in the grand design, like hesitant notes in a dark symphony. An orchestra tuning its instruments, preparing for the crescendo. Each firefly seemed to be tuning its instrument, adjusting its frequency, finding its harmony with the others. The darkness was now punctuated by hopeful lights, tiny beacons of resilience against the encroaching night. The pace quickened, dozens, then scores, then hundreds joined the dance, then hundreds began to connect, their individual lights weaving together into a tapestry of collective brilliance. The forest was waking up, stirring from its slumber, responding to the call of the fireflies. A handful of fallen stars stirring, shaking off the dust of the earth and preparing to ascend once more. The air shimmered with a building energy, a palpable sense of anticipation that crackled and sparked like the fireflies themselves. Randomness gave way to rhythm, chaos transformed into order, as the fireflies found their collective pulse. A subtle unity emerging, a silent agreement that transcended individual desires. The darkness became a canvas, a vast and empty space waiting to be filled with light and wonder. A masterpiece taking shape stroke by stroke, flicker by flicker, a living work of art unfolding before our very eyes. The sparks had been a question, a tentative inquiry into the heart of the night. Now the forest was answering, with a chorus of light that echoed through the trees. We stood on the edge, about to witness creation, a spectacle of nature so profound it felt almost sacred. Suddenly the scattered sparks vanished, total darkness for a heartbeat. Then the entire valley erupted in light. Millions of fireflies flashed in perfect synchrony, a wave, not a flicker. The darkness was banished, replaced by a green-gold glow revealing the valley's contours. The forest became a living river of light, pulsing and vanishing in unison. Each cycle was a cosmic heartbeat, light, then dark. The scale was staggering, light stretching from the stream to the canopy. We were inside a universe of light, impossibly small witnesses to grandeur. Every pulse revealed new details, ferns, bark, hillside curves. The world was created and destroyed again and again. There was no sound, just a visual symphony. This was living art, a perfect sculpture of light and life. Tears came before I realized it, tears of release, not sadness. All my need to analyze dissolved in the face of pure beauty. There was nothing to figure out, only this perfect pulsing light. I felt connected, not an observer but part of the forest. My breath synced with the firefly's rhythm, boundaries faded. I belonged to something ancient and magnificent. Daily worries vanished, silenced by the grandeur. It was a forced meditation, a gift of pure presence. For those minutes I was simply a witness. In letting go of analysis, I found peace deeper than thought. The experience was beyond explanation, felt, not understood. The only response was awe. To dissect it would shatter something holy. The proper action was to be still, to let the beauty wash through me. Standing there, immersed in the ethereal waves of light, a word unbidden surfaced from the depths of my awareness. A concept struggling to capture the essence of the moment. It was a feeling more than a thought, a resonance that vibrated through my very being. Theophany. A manifestation of the divine, not necessarily in a religious sense but in the profound recognition of something sacred. Not a religious vision, in the traditional sense, but a glimpse of the sacred meticulously woven into the fabric of the ordinary. It was the extraordinary revealed within the mundane, a reminder that magic exists all around us, if only we take the time to perceive it. The message wasn't conveyed through words or symbols, no complex equations or ancient runes were necessary. It was the light itself, the pure, unadulterated essence of bioluminescence that carried the weight of meaning. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, seemed to whisper, "Look, truly look at this impossible beauty, this spectacle of light and life, this perfect harmony, this intricate dance of nature unfolding before your very eyes." The message bypassed the filters of intellect, circumventing the need for logical analysis or rational understanding, speaking directly to the core of the soul, resonating with something ancient and primal within. Profound truths, the kind that shape our understanding of existence, are often felt in the quiet spaces between thoughts, not articulated in the clamor of spoken words. This was active, alive beauty. A vibrant, pulsating expression of life, a deliberate act of communication, a conscious offering of wonder. The meaning wasn't a complex code to decipher, a riddle wrapped in an enigma, but the immersive experience itself, the feeling of being enveloped in something larger than oneself. The sense of profound connection to the natural world, the temporary dissolution of the ego and the boundaries of self. That was the core of the message, the essence of the communication. It was ultimately a lesson in humility, a reminder of our small place within the grand tapestry of existence. In our human-centric world, often blinded by the artificial lights of our own creation, we operate under the assumption that only humans possess the capacity for deep and meaningful communication. But here, in this hidden sanctuary, millions of tiny insects spoke volumes in a language far more ancient and profound than any human tongue, a language of pure, unadulterated light. The universe is perpetually speaking, constantly broadcasting its wisdom and wonder. We simply need to quiet the noise, open our hearts and learn to truly listen. The Fireflies' grammar, their syntax of light, was an expression of pure, unadulterated wonder, a testament to the boundless beauty and mystery of the natural world. Even in awe, the scientist in me stirred. This synchronous flashing is rare, seen in only a few firefly species. It's not for us, but a vital mating ritual. Each male has an internal clock adjusting to neighbors' flashes. Through mutual adjustment, a shared rhythm emerges, millions flashing as one. This unity creates a clear signal for flightless females to respond. The males find mates by spotting these faint replies. It's a marvel of self-organization and evolutionary necessity. The river of light is a sign of a healthy, balanced ecosystem, beauty and biology perfectly intertwined. Psychologist Abraham Maslow called this a peak experience. Moments of profound happiness, fulfillment, and transcendence. Bathed in firefly light, I knew I was having one. These moments dissolve the ego, uniting us with everything. All fear and anxiety vanish, replaced by acceptance and belonging. The firefly display was the perfect catalyst, forcing a shift from thinking to being. It was a direct encounter with the sublime. Maslow saw such moments as touching transcendence. We are wired for wonder. Seeking it is essential to being human. The world shimmered with intrinsic goodness and truth. For a moment, all discord resolved into a perfect chord. As the display waned, a final realization settled in. I'd searched for a message, but the meaning wasn't in the flashes. The message was the feeling itself, the awe, the connection. The universe wasn't telling me something, it was making me feel. The point was to be overwhelmed, to surrender. The peace, the tears, the unity. These were the message. It was a communication aimed at the heart, not the mind. The universe offered a simple declaration, I am. The fireflies embodied interconnected existence. The message, you belong. You are part of this. The meaning was in the emotional power of the moment. Some things are meant to be felt, not analyzed. The firefly's illumination was to be witnessed and to change us. We left the valley in darkness, but the silence was now filled with memory. The afterglow lingered, a warmth in my chest, a quiet hum in my soul. The world outside seemed ordinary, but I was changed. Wonder is not childish. It's vital, keeping us open and connected. The memory of the fireflies became a touchstone, a reminder that light can exist in the deepest darkness. It shaped how I see the world, teaching me to look for connection and harmony. The most profound experiences defy explanation. They ask us to be present. Some lights aren't meant to be captured, only seen. To witness that silent, pulsing heartbeat of the world, that is enough. It is a light you carry with you long after the darkness returns. But maybe, the truth was never meant to be uncovered, just imagined, again and again, until we begin to wonder, what if the myth was always more real than reality? Like what you've just experienced. Don't forget to subscribe and keep questioning everything.